In this tutorial, we'll learn how to save your projects for print or web. There's a couple ways to save your photos or projects. The first is by just going up to File, Save As, and then choosing a different type of file. So we can save this as a JPEG, which is great for online because it's a small file size but high quality, or PNG, which is a full quality image but still a smaller file size, or these other options depending on what you're using. Typically, you're only going to need a JPEG or maybe a PNG. So if I click Save when I have that selected, this next box pops up that has the quality for this image. So I can choose a low or high quality. And if you select OK, then go back to our desktop, we'll find this JPEG image that is great for uploading online. So let me just go to my Finder, open up a new tab, go to my desktop, and you can see though that this image is 5,956 pixels wide by 3,975 pixels tall and is 13.2 megabytes. This is a huge image. So even though I saved it as a JPEG, it's still really large and probably too large to post online for a blog unless you're just saving it in cloud storage or something like that. So we want to make this smaller, and instead of going into Photoshop and creating a project that's the perfect size, 1,000 pixels by whatever, we can actually do that and actually just export it as at a specific size right from Photoshop. Just go to File, Export, Export As. This is going to bring up another window with different options for your project. Starting over here in the right, actually, we can see the file settings. You can choose the format between PNG, JPEG, GIF, or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, SVG. I'm just going to choose JPEG. You could change the quality over here, going from 100% to 0. I always leave it at 100%. Then over here, we can change the scale. So the image size, say we change the width to 1,000. Because that's maybe what we know we want for posting online. Something like 1,000. There we go. And sometimes when you type in a number, it won't let you do that specific number. And so if you do have that problem, you might have to actually create a canvas that is that size in Photoshop. So create a project that is 1,000 pixels. See here, we can only go to 999. When I type in 1,000, it doesn't allow me to do that. And that's not down here in this canvas. If I go 1,000 pixels right here, see what happens is I get a white pixel line on the right side. So I want the canvas size to match the image size. Down below, you have your metadata options, which if you want to save your copyright and contact info, which you can add to in your preferences, you can do that. But we're just going to say none. And then I'm just going to say export all. It's going to ask me where I want to save it and what the name is. So I'll just say oil painting 2 and I'll export it. And now if I open up this oil painting 2 and see the settings, we can see that it's 999 pixels by 667. Okay. So that's a better way to save your projects as image files for different purposes. So if we go back up, File, Export, Export As, for print, you might want to use PNG. And you might want to make sure that the width is the proper size. Sometimes, depending on who prints your photos, they'll recommend a specific pixel size for the size of your print. I don't know it off the top of my head, but for an 8 by 10 inch print, it might be a certain pixels. And they might require or request a PNG versus a JPEG. Always, though, keep that quality at 100%. So that's how you use the Export As feature in Adobe Photoshop. I don't always use that. Sometimes when I'm creating projects, for example, if I'm doing that YouTube thumbnail, it's already at the right size. It's already at 1920 by 1080 pixels. So I can just go up to File, Save As, and do a quick export as a JPEG. And that is perfectly fine for that kind of work as well. This just gives you a little bit more flexibility. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next lesson.